Meditation is the art of being present and focused right now in this very moment. When I was depressed, a great mentor of mine presented me meditation, and maybe because I was shy or a bit afraid, I never asked him how focusing on my breath could help me release all that pain and suffering that comes with depression. I just didn't see the correlation between focusing on my breath or an external object or watching my thoughts and being happier and recovering from my depression. What I didn't know back then is that meditation is a 1,000 years old medicine to stopping all kinds of suffering. And until today, meditation is just growing in popularity and it still stands the test of time in helping people through all kinds of pain. What I didn't know back then is that when we meditate and, for example, focus on our breath, we're focused and putting our attention on one object, and that decreases the amount of thoughts running through our head. It decreases our mental activity. And with our mental activity and the activity of thoughts being reduced, naturally there is more space. And with more space in our mind comes more calm and less suffering. The reason why when we put our attention as intensely as we can on a certain object like our breath or sounds, that our thought activity and our mental activity decreases is because our mind is now focused on that object and less parts of the mind are busy creating thoughts, or using the terminology of consciousness, there is less consciousness creating thoughts, more consciousness focused on that object, and that naturally creates more space and decreases our mental activity. And with more practice, that creates a quieter mind in our day-to-day life. So the more with practice and with time, that inner silence grows and expands and we have more space. And also the brain literally physically changes. It builds new neural pathways, and so our brain changes, and that allows us to be more calm in our daily life through the focused practice of meditation. In my journey, it helped me and still helps me to slowly have more calm and peace. Measure your progress by months, not by days, and you will see improvement. So at the time I was like, what the hell? How is watching my thoughts gonna help me be happier? I hate my thoughts. I hated my thoughts. I wanted to resist them, to fight them, to make them go away, not to watch them, not to meet them, not to face them. I wanted them to go away, not welcome them. So I really didn't understand how it's gonna make me happier. But if you've ever tried making your thoughts go away or resisting them, you would see that you can't really do that for long. It doesn't really work. We don't really have that superpower. And you probably felt worse after trying that. You probably felt exhausted as well. I know I did. But if you've ever tried it, you may have noticed that when we step out of the perspective of our thoughts and we notice them just come and go, we naturally do become calmer. We feel calmer. That experience is often symbolized as like watching a river, a strong river with a strong current. So watching the river is like watching our mind, watching our thoughts. And resisting the river is more like jumping into the river and even trying to swim upstream. So you're in trouble and you're gonna get exhausted and the river is still gonna carry you away. Now it carries you away with it and you feel exhausted, so you feel worse. And if you go along with your thoughts, then that's like going with the river. And maybe that river leads to a waterfall and then you fall and you still get hurt. So this analogy is one way you can look at it, and resisting our thoughts is very tiring and it does not work even in the short term. We very quickly get tired and just feel worse. Going along with our thoughts Going along with them will lead us to the same results we've been getting so far and the same suffering. Still better than resisting them, that's for sure. But the best way is to actually watch them. So we can look at our negative thoughts and emotions like a strong fire burning inside of us. So when we try to fight our negative thoughts and emotions, we actually create more from what we want to avoid. We create more suffering, we create more negative emotions, we create more negativity, we create anger and frustration. So we express suffering about our suffering and we end up suffering more. So like it was explained to me, watching our thoughts and our negative emotions is like watching that fire and let it slowly let it decrease. So after time, even in one practice, the more we watch it, we can notice it calm down. And in the long term, there's also a general calming down that the fire, when it lights up, it doesn't light up as strong. Our thoughts aren't bad or inherently evil. They come from a part of our mind that actually wants us to be happy, wants us to be successful, and most importantly, it wants us to be safe. That part of the mind, even our most destructive negative thinking, is trying to help us. In the future, I also want to talk about how we can help that part that is actually destructive but thinks it's trying to help us, how we can help it and show it how to help us in a constructive way so that our thoughts are more constructive. Meditation helps with that too. Mostly helps with quieting and calming the mind and the voices. But there's also a faster way to change what the voices say. But you can't will it. You can't just force them to change. So looking at our thoughts puts us in a different point of view from our thoughts. A different, less destructive point of view. It's an observer point of view, and it helps us see things more clearly and heal our pains. So slowly, that observer point of view, like magic, really calms us, relaxes our thoughts, helps us see with clarity. So if you're looking for great places to learn meditation and mindfulness, you're welcome to contact me at my email, danielhappyliving@gmail.com. You can also try out a free app like Smiling Mind, which is a great app. And there's also a great paid app that you may have heard of called Headspace. I am not in any way affiliated with those apps, but I found them really useful. One thing that is important for me to say before the end of this video is that meditation is not a practice and experience without challenges. There are actually many challenges that you meet along the way, but from my experience it's worth it. It's worth to meet them, and also I will talk about them in my next video probably, so that you will be less surprised when you face them. I'm Daniel for Happy Living. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all to be happier and to suffer less. Thank you. Subscribe for more content if you're interested. Like if you're interested, and if not, that's okay. Thank you.